I remember the day she said it to me, casually, like she was doing me a favor. "You should be grateful I chose you." She was in my car when she said it. She always used my car. Said hers was too old, too loud, too embarrassing. So I let her take mine whenever she wanted. She didn't ask? Just took the keys off the counter like they were hers. Back then, I didn't question it. Back then, I was still stupidly in love. Back then, my world was still intact. Everything seemed normal in the beginning. We'd been together 2 years. Living together for 8 months. We weren't perfect, but we weren't broken. Or so I thought. She had a way of making me feel like I wasn't quite enough. Not directly. But in little ways. Subtle digs. Comparisons to her exes. Questions like, "Don't you want to make more money?" Or, "Are you really wearing that to dinner?" I didn't clock it then. I thought I was being sensitive. Or insecure. Or maybe she was just pushing me to be better. I didn't realize she was chipping away at me. It started small. She'd get home late and blame traffic. Say she was out with her cousin. Or helping a friend through a breakup. She had explanations for everything, and I never pressed. I trusted her. Blindly. Like an idiot. Then came the phone thing. Always flipping it face down. Taking calls in the bathroom. Setting new passcodes and changing them weekly. One night, while she was asleep, I picked up her phone. Just held it. Not to snoop, at least that's what I told myself. Just held it, wondering what was on the other side of the lock screen. I didn't try to unlock it. I still had that much dignity left. But the pit in my stomach? It stayed. One Saturday, she told me she was driving up to Santa Barbara to see her aunt. Said she'd stay overnight. I offered to go with her. She smiled that tight, condescending smile she always gave when I suggested something she didn't want. "No offense, babe, but she doesn't really like having guests over. She's weird about her space." I nodded. Said I understood. She took my car. Filled an overnight bag. Kissed me like she meant it. She didn't text me once the whole night. I wasn't trying to play detective. But the next morning, I noticed the GPS in my car. She must have forgotten to clear it. Or maybe she didn't care. I tapped into recent destinations. Santa Barbara wasn't on the list. But there was an address in West Hollywood. Repeated. Multiple times. I copied it. Pasted it into Google. It was an apartment complex. I stared at the street view photo like it would give me answers. But all I had was a location and a question. That was the first real fall. The first drop. But I didn't confront her. I waited. Watched. I became quiet. Not cold. Just quiet. I stopped volunteering to drive her places. Started leaving my keys in my coat pocket instead of on the counter. Subtle things. I wanted to see what she'd do. She noticed. Asked me if I was okay. Said I seemed off. I told her I was just tired. Work was busy. I lied. And she bought it. A week later, she left again. Said she had a work event downtown. Needed the car to get there. I told her I needed it for errands. She paused, then smiled. "You should be grateful I chose you," she said, almost teasing. "Not everyone would be this understanding." She kissed my cheek, took the keys anyway. That night I followed her. I took a rideshare. Kept my distance. My heart was pounding so hard I thought the driver could hear it. She didn't go downtown. Didn't even fake a turn toward it. She drove straight to that West Hollywood address. I watched from across the street as she parked. Watched a tall guy open the door for her. Watched her wrap her arms around his neck like it was muscle memory. Like she belonged there. I didn't cry. I didn't even get angry. I just stood there. It wasn't shock. It was confirmation. She stayed the night. I went home. And I waited. The next morning, she came back like nothing happened. Tossed the keys on the counter. Asked if I wanted brunch. I said I wasn't hungry. She showered. Changed. Called her mom. Laughed like she hadn't just detonated something inside me. I packed a bag. She noticed as I zipped it. Where are you going? I looked her dead in the eye. Somewhere that doesn't feel like lying. She didn't even deny it. Didn't ask what I meant. Just stood there, mouth slightly open, like she couldn't believe I was the one leaving. You're seriously doing this? She asked. I said nothing. You don't even want to talk? I shook my head. I saw you. I know where you were. Silence. Then she laughed. Actually laughed. You're being dramatic, she said. We were just talking. In his bed? That shut her up. She tried to twist it. Said I'd been distant. Said I was pushing her away. Said she was confused. That she didn't plan for this to happen. I let her talk. Let her bury herself in every excuse she could think of. Then I walked out. That was 3 months ago. She tried texting. Calling. Demanding. Then stopped. I found out later the guy dumped her. Didn't want the drama. Didn't want to be the guy who broke up a relationship. Funny how people grow morals at the wrong time. These days I still have the car. But I don't let anyone else drive it. And when I think of her, of the nights she was with him while telling me to be grateful, I don't feel rage. I feel relief. Because now I know what love isn't. And that's a hell of a start. The first week after leaving her felt like silence wrapped in static. I didn't go out. Didn't eat much. My phone stayed on Do Not Disturb, not because I wanted peace, but because I couldn't stomach the idea of seeing her name light up the screen. And it did. 4 days. Text after text. A few were angry. Most were pitiful. I miss you. I made a mistake. You're the only one who ever really got me. Each one chipped away at whatever part of me still wanted to believe the version of her I fell for even existed. Eventually, the messages stopped. That should have felt like relief. Instead, it felt like being abandoned all over again, except this time by the illusion. One night, about a month in, I ran into her. Total accident. I was grabbing coffee at this 24-hour place down on Melrose. She walked in with a friend, didn't see me at first. I didn't duck. I just watched. She looked different. Not bad. Just different. Tired. A little hollow behind the eyes. She caught sight of me. Her friend went to order. She hesitated, then walked over. Hey, she said. I nodded. Hey. We stood in awkward silence until she reached for a line she must have rehearsed. You look good. I didn't return the compliment. You seeing anyone? She asked, like we were catching up, like she hadn't detonated us. No. She bit her lip. Neither am I. I nodded again. Didn't say what I was thinking, that I wasn't alone because I couldn't move on. I was alone because I didn't want to carry her ghost into something new. She looked like she wanted to say more. Maybe beg. Maybe explain again. But her friend called her name. She walked away. I didn't watch her go. That night, I downloaded a dating app. I didn't want love. I wanted noise. I wanted to feel anything but the dull echo of what she left behind. But everything felt like pretending. I'd scroll through profiles, and every smile looked like a lie. Every line about looking for something real felt like bait. I went on one date. Nice girl. Smart. Funny. But I couldn't focus. My brain kept comparing, scanning, protecting. I never called her back. 2 months after that, she reached out again. A new number. A different tone. Can we talk? I didn't reply. She sent a voice note. I listened. It was her crying. Saying she wasn't okay. That she'd made the worst mistake of her life. That she thought about me every day. I didn't know if any of it was real. But I knew what she was doing. She wanted access. Not reconciliation. She wanted the version of me that didn't exist anymore. I blocked the number. That night, I slept better than I had in months. There's a weird kind of peace that comes after you stop expecting closure. Not forgiveness, not apologies. Just silence. I started waking up without that heavy knot in my chest. I could finally open my blinds again without wondering if she'd be on the other side of the glass. I kept my circle tight. Didn't talk about her. Not to my friends. Not to my brother. Not even to myself. But the quiet didn't last forever. One afternoon, I was at the mechanic. Oil change. Nothing special. A guy sat down next to me in the waiting room. Looked familiar. Too familiar. He glanced at me twice. Then again. You dated Natalie, right? My stomach dropped. Yeah. He nodded slowly, a bitter smile creeping in. Yeah. So did I, briefly. I didn't say anything. She told me you were controlling. That you stalked her. Said you hacked her phone? I laughed. Couldn't help it. You believe that? He shrugged. Not really. But she's good at making you doubt yourself. We sat there in silence for a while, just two strangers tangled in the same wreckage. I never got his name. Didn't want it. It felt too messy, too weirdly intimate to share anything else. But something about that moment stuck. Because for the first time, I realized it wasn't just me. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't imagining things. She had patterns. Scripts. A cycle. And I was just one chapter. That night, I started writing again. Just for myself. Not stories. Not journals. Just memory dumps. Getting everything out so it stopped running laps in my head. The things she said? The way she said them? The times I excused it all because I didn't want to believe someone who loved me could also dismantle me, piece by piece. A few weeks later, a friend of mine, Rachel, invited me to a dinner party. Small group. Just wine and food and normal human interaction. I almost didn't go. But something in me was tired of sitting in that same apartment with the same quiet thoughts. That's where I met Emily. She was nothing like Natalie. She didn't perform when she talked. She didn't make me feel like I was being interviewed. She laughed too loud. Cursed too much. Told stories about her weird job as a pet photographer. I didn't feel like I had to impress her. Just talk. We didn't exchange numbers that night. But Rachel said Emily asked about me the next day. It was slow. No sparks flying. No cinematic tension. Just comfort. It felt like putting on a hoodie that actually fit for once. And that's how I knew it was real. Because I didn't feel like I had to shrink to fit it. 2 months in, I got a message request on Instagram. A throwaway account. No posts. Just one DM. I heard you're dating someone. Are you really over me? I blocked it without answering. Because yeah, I was. Not because I met someone else. But because I finally met myself again. It took a while to learn how to exist again without flinching at the sound of her name. I still saw shadows of her in certain places. The Thai restaurant we always ordered from, the gas station where she once made a scene over a $10 charge, the bookstore where she pretended to like poetry just to impress a friend of mine. But something in me had hardened, not bitter, just sharper. Like scar tissue. I wasn't naive anymore. I didn't mistake intensity for intimacy. Then one evening, out of nowhere, Rachel called. Her voice was weirdly tense. Hey, don't freak out, but Natalie showed up at my work today. My stomach sank. She what? She was asking about you. Said she needed to return something. Some box of your stuff. I didn't take it, obviously. I told her you moved on. She just smiled like she knew something I didn't. Later that week, the box showed up outside my door. No note. Just a small cardboard box with some of my old hoodies, a photo frame she used to keep on her nightstand, with the photo missing, and a USB drive. I shouldn't have plugged it in. But I did. It had one folder. Inside, videos. One of us on vacation in Portland. One of her crying. One of her in front of a mirror, saying my name over and over, like some twisted ritual. It felt like a digital seance. I closed the laptop. Put the USB in a drawer. Locked it. A week later, Emily came over. We were making dinner. She asked about the drawer. I hesitated. Told her the truth. She listened. Didn't interrupt. Then she said something that stuck. People like her don't want closure. They want loopholes. She was right. Natalie didn't want to fix things. She wanted to keep a thread tied to me, just in case her life kept unraveling. I wasn't a person to her. I was a backup plan. I didn't want to be anyone's contingency. So I took the USB. Smashed it with a hammer. Tossed it in the dumpster out back. And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt clean. Emily smiled when I told her. Not because of what I did, but because I finally stopped letting Natalie live rent-free in my head. The next morning, I got up early. Made real breakfast. Eggs, toast, coffee, none of that frozen reheat crap. I turned on music. Not sad music. Just noise. Something loud and alive. Emily came in wearing my hoodie. The same one that used to hang in Natalie's closet. It didn't haunt me anymore. Because sometimes, healing doesn't come in a cinematic moment. No epiphany. No slow-motion montage. Sometimes, it's just waking up and realizing you're okay. And you didn't think you ever would be.